Today, we're working inside of DXO Photo Lab in order for me to show you how you can create a photo pop effect, or a color pop effect, I should say. Now, the color pop effect is a very unique technique. It's designed to draw a viewer's attention into the frame. Now, DXO Photo Lab does have some tools that allow us to do this, but I'm not quite sure that the tools are well suited, at least for the subject matter that we're going to be working with today. But I can show you the fundamentals of using this technique, and then you can try it on your own images and see how well it works out. Let's go ahead and jump into Photo Lab 9 to take a look. So here we are inside of DXO Photo Lab 9, and you can see the image we're working with. Now, if you're not familiar with the photo pop technique or the look overall, essentially you keep one area of the image with color and then everything else is desaturated or less saturated than that other area. And so for this photo, what I want to do is select the train, keep all of the color in this train right here in the middle, and then get rid of the color everywhere else on the photo. And so for us to do that, what we're going to do is come over to our masking section. All right, this is how we can do this, and just make that selection. There's a few different tools that we can use, but the tool that I'm going to recommend that you use inside of DXO Photo Lab is the Auto Brush tool. Now, the Auto Brush tool, what it does is it allows you to paint over an image and select just a very particular area. And so all I'm going to do with a brush decently sized, I'm just going to paint over this train, and you can see how it starts to make a selection. Now, it's not perfect, and you do have to go over this a few times. You'll even have to resize your brush. That's what I've at least learned in my adjustments of using this particular tool, because I want to get as much of a selection on this train as I can without going outside of the train too much. Now, don't be too concerned with going outside of the train, and it does help to just kind of center, like where that plus icon is, center that over areas on your subject that don't have the overlay on it in order to make sure that it's selecting more in that area. All right. And what I wish DXO would do is give the same bracket key keyboard shortcuts to resize the brush, because they want you to use these on-screen controls, and I am not a fan of doing it that way. But I will use the tools that they have given us, and that's how I want to resize my brush, so that way I can get into these smaller areas that just aren't necessarily getting selected right now. And I'm not going to waste your time watching me select this train all the way, because what I've also found is you don't have to have a perfect selection in order for DXO to make a good selection. All right. And you just have to give it enough information so that way it knows what it is that you're trying to adjust. All right, so we'll say that this is good, but you could definitely spend more time, and based off of your particular subject, you may need to do more or less work. And so once that's done, I'm just going to come down here and hit close. It's going to get rid of the overlay. So now that the overlay is closed, I'm going to come to the HSL section, and I'm just going to drop the saturation. Now, this is giving me the opposite of what I actually want in this particular image. So coming up to the top of the masking settings, I want to click on mask number 1. And I think that this is important to click on the mask as opposed to the submask, because you may end up with a few different submasks, especially if you're working inside of DXO Photo Lab 9, that allows you to apply additional submasks. So make sure you click on this item where there's like a little black box, and in this case it's labeled mask 1, but you could rename these, and then hit the invert option. And what this is going to do is select everything that is opposite of what is in the selection for all of your submask. And then I'll go ahead and hit close. And now you can see we're starting to preserve the color on the train, and everything else is black and white. Now remember, I mentioned you could use submask. Well, with the main mask selected, I can click this little icon here that says new submask. and it's going to apply a new submask. And then I get to choose what type of mask I want to use in order to apply this new submask. And so I'll come over here to the brush tool because this is just the easiest to clean up certain areas of an image. And it does help to zoom in a little bit here. So I'll go 1:1, hold down the space bar just so I can reposition this. And then we'll go ahead and with a feather that's pretty low, because I want to be right up on these edges. And then again, this is where having those keyboard shortcuts to resize the brush. Let's see here. So to resize the brush, you got to use Command plus scroll. All right. So we'll hold down the Command key and then scroll. That's how you resize the brush in the area. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paint over here to clean up this area. It's not going to be entirely perfect, but I just want you to get the idea of how you can come in and start cleaning up your masks. All right. And so now with a erase icon, if you come down to the bottom, you have your mode. So I just applied the adjustment into that area, but I noticed that on the mask, I need to clean up the front portion of the train here, as well as on the window. And so that's where you come down to the bottom and you click on this little icon for the erase of your brush essentially. And so holding down Command and then scrolling on my center mouse wheel, I can resize that brush, and I'm just going to paint this in really quickly and crudely, but you definitely would want to take your time. And that's just one of the things with working inside of DXO when it comes to refining your mask. I do like that they allow us to do these submasks, but sometimes you end up spending a lot of time cleaning up the mask. All right. But that is just par for the course. If you want a good result, you definitely want to make sure you have a good mask. And so knowing how to use the tools is what's going to get you to the success of what you want in your images. And you can see I'm talking through this and just quickly correcting this mask. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time. We'll go ahead and click the mode button here to paint in all these areas that are right above the train that the auto brush did not select. And so we'll do something like that. And we'll get this area right in here. And we'll get this area right up here. Now I painted over the train a little bit, but again, that is just the way that you got to work on your masking, I guess your masking techniques and stuff of that sort. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to retouch this image or fix the masking. So let's go ahead and zoom out. And you can see now we have a cleaner looking mask and the color pop effect. Now, what's cool here is with all of the saturation pulled down, we still have access to all of our tonal adjustments, all right, or selective tone. And so if I wanted to darken this down, one, I could just come to exposure. And when I say darken this down, I mean everything around the train. And that's going to help kind of like a vignette look or effect. And this, I think, is really cool, especially when you start getting into making the colors really stand out among everything else in the photo. And then you can also darken down the blacks if that's something you needed to do. You can pull down shadows, and you're probably getting the picture here. Now, if you wanted to work a little bit more with just the colors, this is where DXO really does shine, and it allows you to select things by color. And so what we can do is create a new mask by clicking this new mask icon. And you can see I now have a new mask section or category. And then depending on what DXO extras you have, again, if you want to pick up DXO software, consider using the affiliate link in the description box below and the coupon code that is also down there. It'll help you save some money, and it's a way of supporting the channel because I do make a small commission from everyone who uses that. However, if you pick up Film Pack, you get access to the luminosity mask, and you may want to use that. But the tool that I really want to use here is going to be the color range mask. And so, or the hue mask. And that's going to be this little picker tool with the little circle around it. If you click there, it now allows me to come in and I can sample just this little yellow here. And then I can also, because DXO Photo Lab 9 allows us to do submask, I can click the plus icon under add new submask. With the color selection still applied, I can come in here and now select the blue, and that's going to add into that mask. And so now I have the colors on the train selected pretty well. But if I click on the actual mask icon, you will see that I have more stuff selected than I need. And so what I need to do is a new submask. And on this one, I want to use a brush, and then I want to use the erase tool. And I'm going to hold down Command and scroll my mouse wheel up. I'm so glad I learned that keyboard shortcut. And then I'm just going to erase everywhere that I don't need this color adjustment filter that we're putting on here. And so just bear with me as I clean up this mask, so that way I get the look that I want ultimately in the photo. And so, and since those areas are black and white, probably won't do a huge deal of service, or it won't cause too much of an issue, but I'd like to just get it all out of the mask, so that way I know that our mask is clean and good to go. And so now I have the mask cleaned up, ready to go. And so I'll hit close, and I only have the colors selected. And so now if I want to increase the vibrancy on just the train and the colors, I can do that, increase the saturation. I can also work with the tonal range. I can work with contrast. So if I want the colors to be just a touch more contrasty, maybe the highlights are a little too much, I can pull those back. And you can really fine tune your overall color pop look when you start working with the new masking tools inside of DXO. And so, yes, you do have to do a little bit of work compared to maybe some other programs, but you can still get the color pop effect. And then what's really cool is you could send this in to Nick Color Effects or Analog Effects and really like fine tune your overall looks just by working with those tools as well. And so hopefully you found some value in today's video. If you did, smash the like button. Now, if you're using DXO software, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite feature and your favorite DXO program is down in the comment section. I am looking to bring more DXO software tutorials to the channel, but I want to know what you have the most questions about or what you're the most interested in when it comes to using this software. So let me know in the comment section, and if there's something that I can definitely produce, then I will. Now, if you want to learn how to use DXO software and get your creative vision out into the world, or maybe you have a workflow question, consider signing up for a one-on-one training call with me. I'll meet with you and I will help you develop or design a workflow using DXO software, whatever programs you have, because the ecosystem in DXO is very different than all of the other photo editing options on the market today. And so it helps to have someone kind of walk you through what could be a potential opportunity for you using this software. And so if that's something you're interested in, consider signing up for a training call with me, and I will be happy to help you with that. A link for that's in the description box below. Until next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.